May 7th, 2026 meeting to order. After Mr. Walters leads us in prayer, Tyler Ball will lead us in our pledge to the flag.
Let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father God, we just thank you so much for today and the beautiful weather outside, and God, just the slight wind blowing, just letting us know that you're all around us. And God, we just know that you're in control and you're sovereign, Lord, and you know the end result, you know the beginning and the middle, Lord, where we don't. And God, we just pray to you that you'll give us your wisdom and knowledge as we sit here tonight to conduct important business, Lord, and be with those that speak tonight. And Lord, we just ask that you'll bless us all. And Lord, for those that don't know you, I pray that they will come to know you before it's eternally too late, Lord. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to take a moment to thank the board for understanding for me not being here last Tuesday. I had a child that was having surgery. It was a rough week. I had one go into labor on Wednesday and one have to have a ultrasound on Thursday. So I really appreciate the understanding that I was not able to be here. I do want to publicly thank Mr. Hammond for taking over the duties. He is stuck in traffic coming from work and he will be here momentarily. I would like to turn it over to the Boone Creek Elementary students at this time.
Ms. Hughes.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Jordan Hughes. I'm the principal at Boone Creek Elementary School. First, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to highlight our students in our school. There's so many wonderful things happening at Boone Creek Elementary, and we're never going to skip an opportunity to highlight our students and all the wonderful things happening. So we appreciate you all as a board. We thank you for your support. I'm going to turn this over to my students. This is Ripley Gillis and Devin Bishop.
Hi, my name is Ripley Gillis. I graduate the 8th grade in a couple of weeks. I'm the president of Student Council, which I've been a part of for the last consecutive 4 years. I'm additionally a president over the Boone Creek Drama Club. I've also done yearbook and many voluntary things that benefit the school and our community. Over the last 8 years I've spent here, I can truly say that this place is special to me. Starting off, Boone Creek is so important to me because of the teachers and the staff. Each and every teacher strives to be the best for the students and their work environment. Two teachers that I would like to point out are Julian Cutshaw and Ricky Runyon. Both of these men come in with the most humorous and uplifting attitudes. They allow me to be my true, authentic self. Secondly, the opportunities at Boone Creek are extremely beneficial. There are so many educational and extracurricular things that Boone Creek provides. An example would be the new upcoming dance team. Lastly, the support systems that Boone Creek provides. This year was different for a lot of students, including me, but the teachers helped us fight through our struggles. The therapists and the counselors have been a huge aspect of Boone Creek, especially since I've been in the grief group because my best friend Dylan Parker unfortunately passed away. I would also like to say that Boone Creek has impacted me in such a way it has changed my life. Because of Boone Creek, I have become more confident and authentically myself. I absolutely know that I am prepared for high school. I've become a more generous and empathetic person. Because of that, my goal is to leave Boone Creek a better place. Overall, this school is so amazing. I would like to thank the board for making decisions that help students and I. We are so appreciative of you guys. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Devin Bishop. I'm in the 8th grade, and I went to Boone Creek all the way from kindergarten all the way to the 8th grade. I graduate in 10.5 days, moving on to Daniel Boone High School. So I would like to say that what I like most about Boone Creek is the teachers and staff because they are supportive and are always willing to help the students succeed. I also like the positive school environment and how students are encouraged to do their best every day, as well as the opportunities we have in our classes. We get to work on projects, use technology, participate in group activities, and learn new skills that prepare us for the future. These opportunities make learning more fun and help students stay involved. Boone's Creek has helped me, become more confident and responsible. I've learned how to work better with others, stay organized, and push myself to improve. The teachers and staff make a big difference by supporting students and helping us prepare for the future. Thank you.
You both did a great job. Great.
The students created this video for you, and it's a day in the life at Boone's Creek, so please enjoy.
Welcome to Boone Creek.
Good evening.
Thank
you.
Great job, appreciate it.
Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you all.
Enjoy your
You've done an amazing
great
job.
graduation.
Kelly Cauldron. There she is. I didn't see her.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight, I would like to introduce to you some CTE students in our Teaching as a Profession program. These students have completed all the classes in the Teaching as a Profession program, and this year, they spent their senior year working as paid student interns. So, without further ado, Lily Fleener, Sydney Alley, and Mia Miller.
Good evening. First, we just want to say how blessed, and I think I can say for all three of us how blessed we are just to be given this opportunity to be able to do this internship this year. It's truly been probably one of the highlights in all of our senior years, so we're very excited. No, this isn't it. Who asked
This
this
is more.
That's me.
Sorry.
You're fine. So first, my name's Lily Fleener. I had the opportunity to do my internship at Boone Creek Elementary this year, and like that presentation said, that school is such a family. I've loved every second there. I hope to one day have my future classroom there. I got blessed to be with Miss Caitlin Duggar in 2nd grade, and she is by far one of the best teachers I have ever gotten to witness. I've never heard her scream one time or yell. She does everything with grace and calmness. She never gets upset because really, I've learned this year, like, there's no reason to get upset because it just makes things worse. So, moving on, some roles and responsibilities that I had were mentoring students, assisting them when they were struggling, monitoring them as they work, teaching the class as a whole. Once a month, I got to do my own lesson plan and teach the class. Either in the fall semester, I got to teach ELA, and my teaching as a profession teacher, Miss Cox, she would come observe me and grade me on it. And then this spring I got to do the math part, and that's really prepared me because I got to do it all myself. I got to do all the things that I've learned from Miss Duggar and all the teachers I've learned in the past. I got to implement all those things in my instruction with the students that I got to student teach with this year. And also just being in the classroom, it allowed me to see a variety of experiences. For example, a couple weeks ago we got to go to the zoo, and I got to go with them, and we had so much fun. I used to not like going to the zoo, so I had so much fun going with them because just seeing how excited they were when we went to a new animal and we got to do a new thing, that is why you do it. And I also got to go to assemblies and see how all that works. We had the end of the 9-week celebrations. We did field day today, so we had a lot of fun doing that. And Lexia goals, seeing them whenever they level up on Lexia. We have a Lexia lounge, and they get to make a drink. One of them did today, and they get so excited about that drink because we write the level, and then they get to choose the packet of drink they want. It's dye-free, so they get to do it, and then they get to put nerds or gummy worms in it, and they get to choose the color of their straw, and it just makes their whole day just getting to level up on Lexia. And also we do mystery book readers, and it's every Friday, and it's so fun because one of their parents comes in, they choose a day, the parents will, and they'll come in, and they don't know who it's going to be, so it's so fun just seeing them light up whenever their mom or their dad walks in there. And these experiences have just given me very much a professional insight into what teaching will be and what it has allowed me to learn and take things to implement in my own classroom one day. Next, this is just a little student engagement. They were super excited to do this. So yeah.
Dear Miss Lily, thank you for teaching us new things. You are kind, patient, calm, helpful, and best. And you are fun and responsible. Thank you for everything.
Okay.
Dear Miss Lily, you helped me when I needed it, and you are calm to me, and you're nice, and you're fun, and you're responsible. Love, Tristan.
Dear Miss Lily, Dear Miss Lily, you are nice, the best, and funny. You were kind to the classroom. My sister said that you're the best teacher ever, and now I am with you, Miss Lily. You are the best. Dear Miss Lily, thank you for teaching me new and being nice. I love how you are so funny. You are the best. Dear Miss Lily, thank you for teaching us new things. You are helpful, responsible, patient, calm, nice, and fun. Thank you, Miss Lily. Dear Miss Lily, you are helpful, calm, the best, patient, responsible, nice, and fun. Also, thank you for teaching us new things. Love, game. Dear Miss Lily, we will miss you so much. You've been a great helper to us. I will miss you. Dear Miss Lily, thank you for teaching us new things in the classroom. You are the best in the world. Dear Miss Lily, thank you for teaching us new things and being helpful. Thank you for being one of the best almost teachers in the world. Thank you so much. Yes, love Roma.
Dear Miss Lily, you helped me when I did not know the answer of the equation. You are very nice and respectful. Love you.
Dear Miss Lily, she is kind, she is nice, she is helpful. You are the calmest teacher. Thank you for teaching us new things. Thank you, the best in the company. Dear Miss Lily, you are the best teacher ever. You are fun, nice, helpful, and the best.
Those kids, they've had such an impact on my life this year that I can't even explain. They've changed my whole view on teaching and just everything. So, the impact this has had on me was I learned that anything that happens, you just take with love. I learned that showing love is sometimes all they need. And not just having patience and trying your best to reteach them is all they need. I learned that getting upset, it does not do anything. I learned because getting upset does not help them. I had one kid that he didn't even know his letters or his numbers. He made 100 on his spelling test last week.
Awesome.
He made 100 on his math test a couple weeks ago. He's come such a long way. He got to go on his first field trip to the zoo. And I learned that is why you teach. You teach for those kids. So just thank you so much.
My name is Sydney Alley. I'm also from Daniel Boone High School, and I had the opportunity of working in Ridgeview in kindergarten with Miss Tracy Nave, and she just taught me so much. Going into this, I was pretty sure I wanted to be a teacher in my future, but was still deciding between that and business and marketing. But this internship has allowed me to see that teaching is what I want to do, and so thank you for that. Some roles and responsibilities I've had are kind of the same as Lily's: monitoring students, helping explain what we're gonna do, helping those who are confused, and working in small groups. So for the first semester, I went in the morning, so I worked in ELA, and I got to help with their reading stations, and I got to be in a group all by myself with them and help them learn their letters, their sounds, and their sight words and how to blend words. And As I progressed throughout the year, I also got to teach some ELA lessons. And then when it was second semester, I moved to math, where I also have small groups and math stations and have been able to teach math lessons. Some experiences I've got to have are field trips. We also went to the zoo this week, and so I got to go with them to that. STEM days, I got to help students make rocket ships with paper and straws to just help them see how different things can work. 9-week celebrations, I've gotten to be there when they've celebrated 9 weeks and all the hard work they put through, and have like dance parties in the room or whatever they were doing. And I've also gotten to see special visitors that come to talk to them and to show them different things in the world to help them learn. So, I also have a video from some of my students that they put together.
She helps me with my stations, and she was very nice. She helps me do my stations, and she helps me in my 3D shapes and read to me. Miss Allie, she helped me with math. She is nice.
Go.
She helped me tie my shoe. She helped me at station. She is nice. Dry painting. She helped me with math.
Show it.
She read me a book to everyone. It was fun. She is kind to me. She helps me at station. She helps me with math. She read to me a book. She helped me with math and stations. She and what?
Show it.
Dun, dun, dun. Miss Allie helps me learn my 3D shapes, and helps me do math, and she is very sweet to me, and I like her that way.
So all of these students have had a great impact on me. They've made my senior year better than I think it ever would have been if I didn't spend 3 hours a day with them. Some of the things they've shown me are how students start. It's shown me that students can come in knowing nothing, barely knowing their letters and their sounds, and then at the end of the year be able to write sentences, and just seeing how they can learn. It's taught me patience. Like in math lessons, they're not going to get it right away sometimes, and you have to restart, go back, try a different way to do it, and it's shown me that. It's shown me how good of support is needed inside and outside of the classroom, because you're more than just a teacher. You should ask about your students' lives and like what they're doing over the weekend, what sports they're playing, and just be there for them. And I've also been able to see how to make learning fun. In some of our math stations, we've done bowling for subtraction or done different games to make learning fun and where they can still benefit from it and just have a good time in the classroom. And this internship just has allowed me to really fall in love with teaching and find out that that's really what I want to do. So thank you for that.
Sorry. My name's Mia. Sorry. My name's Mia Miller. I taught but I helped teach second grade at Lamar Elementary with Miss Tammy Ferguson. She was amazing. I loved every moment with her. These experiences have helped me develop valuable skills for my future as an educator. I've learned the invaluable skills that teaching is more than lesson plans and giving lessons. It's about building relationships. Students do better when they feel comfortable, respected, and understood. Even small things like asking the students how they are doing can make a huge difference. I've also found that patience is everything. Not every student learns the same way or at the same pace, and that's okay. Oftentimes, you have to explain multiple times or try a different approach. And this doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're adapting, not only to an individual student, but as a whole class. Miss Tammy Ferguson taught me that. I've grown in confidence too. At first, it was scary being in front of a classroom, but over time I've gotten more comfortable speaking, leading activities, handling situations on my own. I worried about messing up, not explaining things well enough, or not being taken seriously by the students. But over time, the more I have patience and the more I put myself out there, the more it becomes easy. The time I spent with my students and my mentor teachers, the more I truly fell in love with the idea of becoming an educator. What started as a learning experience quickly turned into something I felt passionate about. Being in the classroom showed me how powerful a teacher's role can be, not just in teaching content, but encouraging students every day. I want to be on the front lines of shaping young minds and making a difference in their lives. I've seen how even small moments, helping students understand something new, making them feel heard, or simply being someone they can rely on can have a lasting impact. And that's what excites me most about this career. The chance not only to be a teacher, but truly connect and grow alongside my students. During my internship, my students wrote letters explaining how I positively impacted their learning and classroom experience. Throughout this activity, I guided them through each step of the writing process, helping them with drafting, revising, and drafting again, and coming out with a final copy. As we worked together, I was able to see a tremendous growth in their handwriting, spelling, grammar, and overall confidence as writers. This experience has given me firsthand insight into the importance of scaffolding and using the gradual writing process to support student success. Most importantly, reading their final letters was incredibly meaningful because it reminded me how strong the relationships I built with my students truly are. Hearing their thoughts and reflections meant more to me than words can express. I would like to share a few of them with you. I didn't make a cool, fancy video. I brought theirs. Dear Miss Mia, thank you for helping me while you were in my classroom. You helped me by calming me down when I get mad. I liked when you smiled at me. My favorite thing we do was writing this note. I remember your happiness forever. Your friend, Alistair. Dear Miss Mia, thank you for helping me while you were in my classroom. You helped me by making me stay on task. You will be the best teacher. I liked when you helped me with our morning work. My favorite thing we do is smile at each other. I will miss you and I will remember you forever. Your friend, Chansley. Dear Miss Mia, thank you for helping me while you were in our classroom. You helped me by telling me to keep on trying. You will be a great teacher one day, and I hope you have fun being a teacher. We will miss you. Your funny friend, Denny. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be an intern. I love my students so much. They have changed me and my life more than I think little 9-year-olds will ever know. Thank you so much.
all so much. I think you are going into the right field and your hearts are in the right place, and I appreciate your efforts in the classroom this semester and last semester. The consideration of the meeting agenda, we will need to add 2 things to the agenda. One is the FY27 budget, and the other one is the superintendent search. Is there any objections to adding those? So then we'll need a request a motion to the changes.
I move that the 2 items be added as indicated by the chair.
Second.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Heading 7.
I'm going to say yes because mine is not popping up.
I'll agree.
Public comment period. We have someone signed up to speak this evening, so I'll go ahead and read the statement. There shall be a public comment period for each meeting with actionable items on the agenda, with the exception of teacher disciplinary hearings. Comments shall be limited to topics listed on the agenda, matters.
It should say germane to the board's authority.
Germane to the board's authority and jurisdiction. The total public comment period shall be for no more than 3 minutes. If the individual wishes to address the board, he or she shall sign up on the form provided before the board meeting requesting time to speak. Each speaker shall be given no more than 3 minutes. Delegations must select only one individual to speak on the behalf unless otherwise determined by the board. Individuals speaking to the board shall address remarks to the chairman and may direct questions to individual board members or staff members only upon approval of the chairman. Each person speaking shall state his or her name, address, and subject of presentation. Remarks will be limited to 3 minutes unless time is extended by the majority vote of the board. The chairman shall have the authority to terminate the remarks of any individual who does not adhere to the above rules or chooses to be abusive to individual board members or the board as a whole. Hannah Campbell.
I'm Hannah Campbell, a resident of Jonesboro, and I'm here to comment on the April 2nd meeting. To begin, I want to address Irvin's actions, which were not only unwelcome, but sexist and derogatory. I know this because he has not behaved this way with any of our male members, nor do I believe that he ever would. I do not wish to beat a dead horse, as everyone here has clear context as to what happened was wrong. The failure to act on the board's behalf was and is equivalent to his actions, as it has hurt me just as much. To watch the chairperson be so quick to bang her gavel to control the public, yet not use it once in order to control her own peer, was disgusting. I understand the shock. I was there. But it is her responsibility to control and represent this board. You all have done a poor job at that representation. Gaining global attention for sexual comments and assault is not the reputation that Washington County deserves. Everyone on this board shares that blame, just as every voter who put you in the office shares that responsibility. I believe that you're all cowards, especially those who use their God as a cop-out for forgiveness. Just as religion is not allowed in schools by authority figures, it has no place in this boardroom or any professional setting. If you choose to forgive him, that is your right, but own it. What you lack is accountability, and that just might be the most disturbing part. I do not forgive you, and I do not accept your fake apologies used to protect yourselves. I do not believe that you deserve that peace of mind. So every time that you feel a little bit of discomfort from the public, I want you to remember that it isn't even a fraction of what I felt on April 2nd. With all of that being said, thank you. Thank you for teaching me that no one will stand up for me besides myself. Thank you for showing this community what you believe it means to protect our children. Thank you for giving me a reason to advocate for policies that require board members to have the equivalent, if not greater, training than school administrators on sexual assault and appropriate conduct. Thank you for showing us the importance of voting locally, and thank you for giving me another reason to get a little bit tougher. That's all.
Thank you. Approval of the meeting minutes.
Make a motion we approve as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
All agreed.
Announcements.
The first one, May 4th, was the CT banquet that happened this past Monday. Great event. Because of limited space, we had to split our two high school CT banquet award ceremonies. As you'll see down lower on the list, the David Crockett High School CT Awards Banquet is Thursday, May 14th. Next door to the venue where we had Boone's in the Carnegie Hotel in the ballroom. And that is on the main floor. When you walk in to check in, there's a ballroom on that floor. The other items, as you see, we had a county commission budget meeting this morning. We added an item we'll discuss later from this morning's meeting. Asbury's graduation is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at Danny Boone High School Gym. And then you'll see Teacher of the Year banquet is on Monday, May 11th, and that's at Grace Meadows. Starts at 6 p.m. Finally, Saturday, May 16th, we have our graduation ceremonies of our two traditional high schools, David Crockett High School in the morning at 9 and Danny Boone High School at 1 at the Mini Dome and ETSU. And then the last day, it's an abbreviated day, is Thursday, May 21st.
Thank you. So we'll move into the superintendent's report and we'll turn it over to Mr. Hall.
Thank you for letting me shed some positive light on our county. This month I had the pleasure of highlighting Lamar Elementary, and I made a short video for y'all to watch.
Our stakeholders, whether it's students, whether it's our teachers, our families, our entire community. The best part about Lamar is what each individual brings to our school. Our school has been here for over 100 years. We have students, from all different parts of this part of the county. We have students, down by Johnson City. We have students from Bumpus Cove, Little Germany, out on the River Flats, and all around our school. And everyone comes to us and they receive a quality education from our teachers, and our teachers and staff who are passionate about making sure that our students are working to be the best that they can be.
Lamar is a great school. Our motto every morning is I am a Cherokee working to be the best that I can be. And we really strive for that as our students and as a faculty. I've been teaching for more than 20 years, and I spent most of that time at Lamar, and our students are wonderful. I love our school.
The community, the people who work here in the community, it's just a real family atmosphere. I taught here years ago, left, and then found my way back. And it's the family and the community that make this place special.
Everybody likes each other and they always have fun together. The best part of Lamar is that we're all together and we're working all together.
I have gone here mostly my whole life. I have loved every single teacher I've had. They have taught me everything I know and have got me this far, and passing all classes, doing well on tests. And then my sports coaches are always there for you. They will help you through whatever you need. So it's been really helpful to be here.
What does it mean to be a Cherokee? It means a lot of things. It means coming to school each day, putting our best foot forward, making sure that we are kind, making sure that we are representing our families, representing our teachers, really embodying our school spirit and our school mantra, which is, I'm working to be a Cherokee, I'm working to be the best that I can be. You know, each day on the announcements, we have students talk and lead and really just, you know, make sure that their peers understand that putting their best foot forward is what makes us a Cherokee. And our mantra is we are kind Cherokees, and our motto is I'm working to be the best that I can be. And I really feel like as a Cherokee, that's what we're about.
Being a Cherokee to me is a sense of pride. I have a sense of pride about working at Lamar. Our students have changed over the years that I've been here. They have developed a lot of skills that we have had to catch up and keep up with. And that has changed teaching quite a bit. However, the things that haven't changed are the fact that these kids need a champion. These kids need, they need a smiling face. They need a welcoming, warm person at the door in the morning saying good morning to them. They need someone on their side. And if they feel that connection to Lamar, which I feel like they do and our staff does as well, then they're gonna work to be the best they can be every single day.
Our motto is we're working to be the best that we can be, just always trying to instill that in my students and making sure they're working hard and doing their best. And, you know, a lot of my students aren't at grade level, so just pushing them to be better.
It means a lot to me. What it means to me by being in Cherokee is all rising together and always working hard and working all together.
I believe being a Cherokee is a great way to show your school pride, and then it's also a great way to have a way to recognize your class or recognize your school or your principal or your teachers or your fellow students.
Did you go to school there?
No, I did not.
Did you? Did you go to school at Jonesboro? Okay.
What did you learn?
Lots.
Did you ever spend any time there before?
No, sir.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
The rest of the items under this section are just public record for board awareness and put in the public record from the enrollment report down to the day field trips that don't require board action.
Consideration of the consent agenda.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
It's open. I'll agree.
Okay, so now we're moving into discussions and presentations. The first discussion is the approval to name David Crockett High School Gymnasium in member of Hobart PAL.
Our Special Projects Committee met according to policy, reviewed the request, and the committee recommends fulfilling this request.
Yes,
I'll make that as a motion that we name the David Crockett Gym after Mr. Powell. Second.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Voting is open. I'll agree.
Thank you. Our 5-year educational capital projects fund plan for FY '27 through FY '31.
Yeah, if I can get down to it, I'll open it up. through the budget process. This is an annual recurring, we looked at our ongoing working capital projects document. I reviewed last year's 5-year plan and updated as needed. And what is being proposed and has been shared with Mayor Grandy and the commission and the budget committee. Just want to point out some items. We left 06 current fiscal year and the expenditures that we had planned in there. As you know, this is the HVAC project, the biggest project, or one of the largest projects in this year's expenditures, along with the security vegetables that are K8s that should finish in July, at the latest in August. But going into 27, the way this fund works is based on property tax pennies, and at the current rate, these are the anticipated amounts, and those are in millions, so that's 2.799 million is the revenue line you see each year. And what this line is from previous unused funds, so it carries over fund balance, and that's the available funds in that fiscal year added with the amount generated by the penny. So looking at our expenditures, the trustees commission always is a part of the expense. What we've identified based on our ongoing bus schedule for the next 5 years, I think this is a purchase of 8 buses. It may be more than 8. I have the bus schedule in a separate document. We carried forward, this was in previous year. There has been identified for several years a need for a redundant second boiler at the Boone Creek Elementary School. We had it in this year's, we did not initiate that project, so we just rolled it over into fiscal year 27 next year to hopefully try to get that project moved on. This amount is for some paving that needs to be done at the Transportation Department primarily. That area requires some extensive work in the paving, both around the transportation and the maintenance area. Paving is very expensive, as we all know, and we see the costs continuing to rise. The next item is a re-roof on our 10-year re-roof schedule, our multi-year re-roof schedule. This year we addressed the Transportation Department roof. We used a different solution, a spray-on solution. I don't believe that's an option on the new annex at Crockett, so it may be a traditional install, and we project at $500,000, and that's in 27. As we project out.
Can I ask why that's not an option for that building? Because I don't.
I think, well, the building, the transportation building was a pitched metal roof.
Yes.
And so that application was sprayed on top of that metal.
This one's flat.
This is a flat, so it'll require the membrane roof replacement, is my understanding. Dr. Adams?
That is correct.
The EPDM, I guess, is the material we use typically.
Yes.
Type of vinyl or rubber type material for the membrane. But that's all based on the amount, and we try to pay attention. You know, we look at the needs based on our schedule, and we also try to pay attention, knowing if there's some larger items down the road that we try to pay attention to fund balance carrying forward so we have the funds available to address those other items down the road in the future years. Next is a bus schedule, another large bus purchase. If you recall, we did spread that out. We did have at least one year that had, it was close to $3 million worth of bus purchases. We re-looked at the schedule and we tried to spread them out and more equally spread them over the years. But the big items there, as you see, an HVAC replacement is scheduled in 28, and then a roof replacement on Asbury roof.
Is the bus schedule on 15 or 17?
We put the bus, yeah, I think that's how we spread out some of these. We put them on 17 with the additional inspections if they pass the inspection. So we tried to stretch them out within the law as far as we can, as long as they pass the biannual inspections. But if they hit 200,000 miles, then they have to come off the road. They can no longer be used to transport students, no matter their age. So just trying to highlight some big things. What I want to point out is previously we had money, recurring funds in these two items. Even though they are technology and can be considered capital purchases, everything in this plan now are capital projects. Constructions are related. We pulled completely all of the costs out of technology, both the classroom technology as well as the campus improvements. We'll have to address that with general funds or fund balance as the need arises. So when we carried that out, took it completely out. Had to do that as you look down the road towards FY31, the fund balance, if all the expenditures are executed as planned, the fund balance without any additional revenue will get down below $500,000. The big item you see here in FY30 at $3.5 million is a re-roof of the main building at Crockett. That's on per the calendar and the schedule. So that's a pretty significant expense. It is a projection at today's cost. As we know, there's always the risk that costs do increase. But that's what's been projected, that's what we recommend as far as finalizing this proposed 5-year capital projects plan with the county.
Jerry, how come our pennies went down from last year to this year?
They've been going down.
And what are you talking, the pennies are the same.
5.34, is that, am I reading that wrong?
It is right here.
That was some reason it was adjusted down, I guess, they decided to adjust it down.
Reappraisal of properties, and Mitch said that while
Because the penny went up in value.
the dollar amount.
They adjusted the penny down to the same dollar amount,
Right.
is what they did.
I mean, I've not been involved with the county's process over it, has something to do with reappraisal of property tax and.
I think what they did is, it appears, they moved the other pennies out to pay for the Jonesboro project, they moved it into capital, the county general capital, and there may have been remaining 5.34, but then they reset it at the same dollar amount, and it calculated to be exactly 5 pennies, 5 cents.
They moved that payment out of this into debt services at the counties.
Yes, all that went to debt, over to the debt service to provide that fund.
And it's on a 20-year amortization.
So as the agreement, basically we were receiving, essentially about $6 million a year, but with the payment to Jonesboro, it basically split it and dropped it in half, a little more than half. And so now the recurring amount, as you see, is under $3 million annually.
Yes.
Mr. Boyd, what about the facade repairs for Lamar School?
We don't have the funds out of this fund to do that.
Should we not put that on there though?
I did share with the working capital projects plan with the committee, so that they see it. And they also see other costs that aren't reflected in here, which, we don't have it up there, but, it's quite significantly different than the available funds. So, just as an example, these funds, the highest amount is $6 million. I think in that particular year, if we include all the other identified capital expenses that we have identified and necessary improvements, I think FY30 is in the neighborhood of 10 to 11 million. But we did not put it in this plan because it could not be covered by the funds.
Yes, sir.
I guess it seems to me that, given this is a 5-year, outlook, that, if we have, if our real needs exceed the current planned revenue, we have an obligation to show that.
I did show it in the working plan, I did not put it in I could restructure this and take it back Tuesday and show the deficit with the other projects below this, the actual need, and add a line and say this is the actual need that could not be budgeted because it exceeded the available funds.
to me, that would feel better. In actuality, you know, budget is gonna be on an annual basis.
It is.
So, I mean, it's really projected needs, and
Yes, sir.
I fear that if we don't have that in this document, you know, some commissioners
Right.
would see that and understand, you know, we're in great shape, they're covering all of our needs, and clearly, Mr. Real said that's a pretty big one. There's some uncertainty about exactly what it costs, but it certainly needs to be out there.
Yeah, I think we listed it in the working plan, $3 million. With the hope that it'd be less than that, but our estimates have been very near that. So I can rework that and reflect that deficit in this document.
Can't be a deficit in 2027, but on out, I mean, if it's.
Right, I understand.
All what it is.
Yeah, no, that is the truth. I mean, if it were to be addressed, as you see from the fund balance, it could almost be addressed next year, but then there'd be $0 and it would create the deficit every year after. So I understand what you're saying. I can rework that, if that's what you would like me to do.
Everything's costing more, so by the time 28, 29 comes, we're gonna be, that 302, it's gonna be less than that.
Yeah, all these, future year estimates are based on current costs with maybe a little bit of growth projected, but as we've seen, it's hard to project the growth. I mean, the increase in expenses on a consistent basis, it could be 10%, it could be 40%.
And that 2.9 million is what, 4 pennies? 5 pennies?
Well, the calculation of 5 pennies right here is 2.7.
Yeah.
And then with the, what this does over time, and this is Mr. Meredith's formula, annually the penny rate, the amount collected and the amount expected and the value, it increases 0.75%. So you'll see a little bit of increase with the same penny, numbers of pennies over that 5-year period, but not a significant increase.
Not much.
But I understand what you're saying. I felt like providing them with the working document, but this is the document that they may choose to look at. So we certainly can reflect it in that way.
I'd like to see us do that and put in what all, you know, if there's other things, I'd like to just present it. At some point, they're gonna have to give us some money in some way, shape, or form, and this would be a way where we could do that. And, I mean, we're gonna have to come up and do these, like that Lamar project is gonna be a high priority. It's not gonna get better, it's gonna get worse, and be more damage and more expensive. So it probably needs to be moved up the list, and I think they need to see that. If we have a deficit, we have a deficit. They're gonna have to try to help us fix that.
Yeah. But looking at just the working document, I'm going to the actual amounts, including what's on here, but also in capturing what is not. The total for FY '26 is 3.750 million, 3.75 million, 750,000. FY '27 is 8.4. FY '29 is 9.27. FY '30 is 10.75, 10,755,000, and FY '31 is 8.94. And that reflects, I mean, you see these totals, that's a big difference than the totals that are up here.
Now, can you replace the Lamar facade and the old Jonesboro HVAC numbers? I think the Lamar facade needs to be done before, and this is just going back what what you shared today with the county on the other paper that you're not.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can you swap them to? I know it puts you $1 million out, but.
Oh, you're talking about on the year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the year, I mean, it is important in the sequence, but something like that, a 1 year difference can just be slid one way or another.
I'm thinking the track and the lighting, we need to push back to 28, I don't think it's realistic.
Just wanted those on the radar, that's why in the working document, we identified things that aren't in this in red and things that are in this in blue. And like you're pointing out, we just wanna make sure that it's
on the radar.
what we also need to put in, although it would be probably FY a few years down the road, but the turf replacement's gotta start being on the radar in the next 5 years.
It needs to be on there for 31, then, doesn't it?
Probably just to get this conversation started.
What's a rough figure on that?
Well, I mean, it was about 750,000 per site. I'd say that'd be a minimum. And you're gonna get, realistically with the maintenance that we've been able to maintain it, we'll be able to maintain it, you can get 12 years out of it.
Do you think it's 750 for will they have to do all the work they did before?
Well, I'm just projecting,
Okay.
8 years from now, it's likely gonna be.
Oh, I'm sure.
A little higher than it would be today. Maybe not, but most likely.
I ain't seen nothing get cheaper.
No. But I will definitely rework it to include at least, if nothing else, I'll add an appendix and a total in the bottom and say, here's the appendix of all the expenditures that were not captured here. If there's no more questions, I do ask, if you want to make that in the form of a formal motion, that'll be in the record.
How would you want to phrase that as far as the expenditures
Just to reflect all of the identified needs that are both in the current proposed plan and the actual working plan.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we do our capital expenditure projection to include both the ones that are on this and the ones that are not on it, the things that will be needed. I already forgot what you told me.
That's close.
The needs and what's on there and what's not, to reflect all of our needs.
Second.
Motion by Mullen, Mr. Little, second by Mr. Is there more discussion or questions about the motion? Can we vote, please, Ginger?
Voting is open.
I would be yes. Oh, there we go.
I'll approve.
Thank you.
All right, the recommendations for the 2025 TISA outcome-based funds.
This is the funds based on, it's always 6 months or more behind. It's based on the previous year's TCAP and EOC or TCAP and overall outcomes. Through the TISA formula, we received these in December, formalized those in February and added them to the budget. As a reminder, let me get it larger. This is a breakdown of the funds based on outcomes. It comes in outcomes based on the students at each school, so it varies. But you can see there's an elementary outcome, there's a middle school outcome, high school, there's 2 high school outcomes. And then here's the totals attributed to the performance and outcomes of each school. Minus university school, all of those funds go directly or go to university school. So you would take that 98,000 and subtract that total of 773, almost 774 to get the total available to the rest of Washington County schools. We've had ongoing discussion. We actually had a discussion last year at this time about the need to at least begin replacing furniture at the high schools and other schools. But priority-wise, as far as the age of the desk, the sizing of the desk and just the need in general, the discussion's been really to prioritize starting some kind of replacement cycle at the high schools. We have gotten quotes, and if I can go back to that, let me get back to it. And this is the high school classrooms. So typical high school classroom, this is similar to the most recent furniture that we've been putting in our new builds. You know, it's just flexible furniture, a desk, economical, durable, with a chair. And a typical classroom, 32 desks. So that's about, Dr. Adams, about $10,000 per classroom.
9,600?
9,600, yes. So in this case, what we targeted, we were looking at 15 classrooms at both, at one, 15 at Boone and 15 at Crockett to start a cycle of replacement. There would take many years to do this, but I think if you never get started, it never gets done.
So are those chairs heavy duty enough for high schoolers? Because I know they're working well in like our elementary schools. I don't.
They're the standard high school chair.
Okay.
I mean,
So they're meant for high schools?
Yeah, they're meant for.
Points are based on the size of the chair, so it's a little bit more expensive for high school. If we drop down to middle school, like a third 5 and then a K2, they're different sizes, different costs. They're all sturdy and made for that age group.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I'm assuming, Dr. Adams, this example here would be Crockett with the black chair?
Yes.
And this example here would be Boone. Same cost, just different color scheme.
Different color.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
I'm just gonna ask an obvious question. Why do we have to replace these? And I'm just asking.
Well, we have
I don't know.
many broken desks. I
Okay.
mean, you have a student that can attest to his experience.
Sure, I get that. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, I mean, it's, most of these desks are 30+ years old. And to their credit, I mean, they're pretty durable, but they're at the point where there's cracks, many years of vandalism, and plus they're also size-wise, they might not be the appropriate size for high school kids.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Blaine?
I'm just wondering, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer either, but with what the commission said today, are you asking us to approve these desks? I mean, that's what this next motion would be.
We'd like to utilize the money that's been added to the budget based on the outcome funds to purchase these desks for the 2 high schools, not to exceed $300,000.
Now, I hate to use that for our budget numbers or whatever, but, is that even legal? The outcome money that comes from the TISA?
Yeah. The board determines any dollars that come from the state.
I didn't know if there were strings attached, or usually is for something.
Well, the strings are as the board makes a decision on how that money is spent.
Yes, sir.
It's no local dollars.
Right.
Although when it goes into your fund balance, it is local dollars, of course, but it's not generated locally.
Could we, get a competitive bid on that? And then if it doesn't suit us, we could always fall back on the buy board.
We can, yeah, we can do that. If that's what you want.
Mr. Masters?
The balance, are we gonna do anything in middle schools?
Well, we have,
I may be
also
jumping the gun,
a
but-
quote, what it looks like for middle school or elementary schools.
I mean, is that kind of the plan too, on this?
Well, we have the numbers, we could have a plan to get as many desks, the 15 at each high school, and then the amount we can secure for the elementaries and address the most needy areas in the elementary schools.
Cause I would think the middle school should be a little cheaper, because there should be a smaller.
I think they're around $8,000 a classroom,
25 chairs and desks.
because there's fewer numbers and smaller.
$4 and some change.
So it's a little cheaper.
But it's fewer desks too,
Oh.
from 32 to 25.
Yeah, per unit is probably not that much, difference.
Just the number of.
Mr. Marks?
So we know if we set out on a program of spending, let's say 600,000 a year, which is roughly what's available this year, in how many years would we have across the system have the classroom furniture to a point where we feel good about it?
Well, I think assuming if you do the same number of 15 at the high schools, then you're probably looking at 5 years, 4 to 5 years. You know, there's some areas that don't utilize those kinds of desks, and they may already have some updated furniture. That they may be using tables, or there's through grants or through specific programs they've been able to get. But we're addressing the majority of the core classrooms in updating the furniture in the core classrooms in high school. So, you know, at 15 each year in one high school, you know, in 4 years, that'd be 60 classrooms. That's probably getting close. That's about to the max of each high school in that core instruction area. So 4 to 5 years we get, if there's a few more.
The 4 to 5 years just to take care of the high schools, not the.
That's just the 300, right now the projected 300,000 at 15 per desk. Now, you actually could hit more than that this year if you used it all for all high schools, but we're not making that proposal. But yes, sir, it would be that long to really roll that up to both high schools.
Eric, didn't we replace the furniture, the jet desks and stuff in Crockett and Boone when we renovated?
That's been 17 years ago.
Well, I understand that, but, you know, 17 years, is it completely wore out, or is it? I can't remember if that was in the.
I was gonna ask Tyler
Mr. Ball would like
what he
to
thought of the furniture.
Honestly, I went to governor's school this summer for education, and we learned that if you treat kids the wrong way, they'll learn the wrong way. So that's instruction material, classroom material, furniture. If it's vandalized and nasty, they're not gonna focus, they're not gonna learn.
So what about the comfort of the desk in your classrooms right now?
They're not comfortable.
I mean, you know, comfort's one, being productivity is important. You know, having an environment. So as we surveyed the classrooms, you know, it's not just it's, you know, the few that get vandalized a year over time, it wears on them. But we do have several that are literally held together with duct tape, trying to stretch out the use of the furniture.
And we have kids that are so tall that their knees hit the top of the desk. There's no comfort in learning. They're not comfortable sitting in the seat.
I guess that would be like those sled type desks where it's all one. The other thing too, in thinking about instruction, especially over the last 10, 15 years, you know, teachers are encouraged to do more grouping, even in high school, especially in high school. And those sled desks, the all-in-one desks, sometimes don't really lend to that kind of learning environment. So it also, the other intended consequence, positive consequence, is to provide some flexibility to our teachers in how they arrange their classroom.
Can you go back to the amount of money that we're receiving?
Yes.
677, 550.
Yeah, that minus university school, the available funds, based on the outcome-based funds that weren't budgeted until we added it to the budget in February, March.
And you're asking for 350,000.
Asking to expend, actually 300,000.
300,000.
If we just did the high schools.
Okay.
The rest of the funds, if we don't identify, you know, expend it on a need, at the end of the fiscal year, it would roll into fund balance.
Mr. Flynn?
Make a motion, we approve up to $500,000 for the new desk and the chairs, but I would like to see another quote. I'd also like to save the $177,000 and talk about it here soon, so.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I would like to see another bid, but I'd like to earmark that $500,000.
You're saying 500,000, up to 500,000, instead of 30.
Can we wait till we see the bids before we make this motion?
Well, we're not gonna approve them till we come back to see the bids. I didn't approve, right, Jerry?
Well, if you want us to bid, I mean, I think to Mr. Urban's point, I mean, you can set that limit, but you also can set it if we put out the bid and you can determine then.
Right, that's what I'm saying, I want you to go ahead and.
The
go ahead and
magic
bid
of
it.
bids are if they know you've approved 500,000,
They're
they
gonna be-
magically come in at 500,000.
That's right.
Yeah, but they can tell us what we
Because it's
can get
public
for
bid.
how many, you know, right?
Yes, yeah, we would be bidding unit, so that would be our comparison point by desk and chair or unit. And that's where we would determine the best value in a bid process.
So is the correct wording to purchase classroom furniture for the high schools not to exceed 500,000?
I didn't want to just say just the high schools, but, just take that part out.
I think we need to wait till we get the bid. Let's get the bids, let's see how much, then we'll say we
All
might
I'm
want to
doing
buy
is
400.
earmarking, we're not buying nothing.
Oh, I know, but I mean, you're saying that you're gonna spend 500,000.
He moved to earmark.
I'll second.
Well, you had a second.
Okay, I'll third.
No third.
Any more discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Voting's open. Carries with 2 noes.
Thank you, we'll work up the specifications and get a bid out ASAP.
Thank you. Mr. Flynn.
Just for, let's hold on to that when we talk about the budget. I wanna see another 177 for us to put it in there. Cause we're getting that money, correct?
We already have it, it's already been in the budget, it's already was approved to be in the budget.
And it's already reflected in the fund balance projection I've given.
Well, they talked about it earlier today, so I just want us to show where we're putting that instead of, cause they acted like we had plenty of, you know, it was just extra money we would, somebody put in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
So I wanna be crystal clear tonight when we get done
Yes, sir.
with, when y'all go back, just in case anybody's watching, they'll see it.
All right, nothing further on the outcome-based funds?
No, ma'am.
All right. Approval of the Gear Up grant and the stipends? Can you pull those?
Yes. Let me get back to, the actual stipends is included in the grant, but because it's, it'll be flow-through money and identified who receives the stipends, those are the stipends that are included in the grant written by ETSU. It's a 7-year grant. These are the stipends are for the additional work associated with the grant of the district representatives in the grant.
Mr. Flynn.
Make a motion, we approve the Gear Up grant and the stipends as presented. And this is a great thing. I guess they weren't available to come tonight to talk about that.
And kind of lot going on.
I understand.
I have a motion for Gear Up grant and second by Mr. Riddle. Is there any more discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Voting's open. All agreed.
All right, summer learning camp, grant for FY '26.
Yeah, I'm trying to rotate this. You help me out, Elliot? Am I doing, I don't see how to rotate it to landscape view. Oh, I'm sorry, I was gonna check, see if it's here, but it's not. And it's not here.
May need to download it.
Okay. That's all we'll do, so they can actually see it.
And rotate it up there.
I see it, it's not active.
Oh.
No,
Oh, no, up there.
This is actually money provided from the state, it just requires, for board awareness, and formal approval. We received this money, and for the first time, we actually, well, by state standards, we got it very quickly, before summer school started. So this is the amount that Ms. Hayes, who organizes, manages our summer school programs, this is the amount that she is, using.
Does that include AMP camp?
This is not in-camp, this is our
This is just
required,
summer
providing summer school
Okay.
experience, for rising kindergartners through 8th grade.
Mr. Flynn?
Motion, we approve the summer learning camp grant FY '26.
A second.
Is there any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Voting open. All agree?
Thank you. And just for your awareness, those funds, if they're not all expended, they get sent back to the state. That also includes, transportation costs, salaries, and all, and material costs.
What did it cost us last year, you remember?
It was in that neighborhood of.
We used it all, though, right?
Ms. Hayes does a very good job of making sure we utilize our resources, yes. And the need was there, with our third graders, all grades, but particularly our third graders.
Was it sufficient?
Summer school will be held at Jonesboro again, centralized summer school at Jonesboro.
Was
Yes.
that enough, sufficient funds? And it starts June 1?
Yeah, that first week of June. Yeah.
June 1.
So there are 3 purchase orders that were not on the consent agenda. 2 of them have to do with school nutrition, and the other one is the benchmark education. Mr. Flynn?
I assume the 2 nutrition, there's nothing, that's what they need to continue, correct?
Yeah, and it's within their budget.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we approve requisitions, sorry, it's not my glasses. 1430260-309 and 1430260-310 as presented for $290,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Voting open. All agree.
And then benchmark education?
These are summer school materials, tied to what you just approved. But, because it'll exceed $10,000, we need board approval.
Mr. Flynn?
Make a motion, we approve PO 7924, please, for $43,173.42.
Second. Is there any discussion? No.
So is this not gonna be spent until line item is determined, or the grant?
It'll be based on the grant where it falls under, Ms. Hayes can't finalize, the State Department put I think May 12th is when we can finalize everything as far as, then Mr. Hale can put it in the proper places.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, can we vote, please, Jennifer?
It's open. All agree.
Approval of the RFP for the beverage provider.
Dr. Adams, you've been very involved in this, any comment?
Our recommendation is to go with Coca-Cola.
I'd like to make that in form of motion.
And I would love to second that. Is there any discussion?
Dr. Adams, when will this changeover take place?
Over the summer, the contract with Pepsi ends, June 30, so technically July 1st, but I'm sure Coke will get in there. If we go with them, we'll get in there and start getting machines in and getting product. I'll meet with the athletic directors and get the booster clubs set up with accounts with Coke, so, as, fall sports begins, we'll be ready to roll.
Thank you.
So with them, with Pepsi going out and Coca-Cola coming in, will the schools get their vending machines back?
Yes.
There you go. Yes, sir.
I wanna just emphasize, they need to be back and stocked. Can't sell something we don't have.
That'll be my, my message to, Coca-Cola.
Thank you. Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Second.
I'm sorry.
I'll agree.
Thank you. Awarding of the bid for the kitchen flooring at Westview and Sulphur Springs. That's line item 143E, 73100, 710. Yes, Mr. Fleener.
Make a motion that we accept the bid from K&M Flooring. Second.
Is there any discussion about the flooring? So this is not the cafeteria flooring, this is just literally the inside where they cook, correct?
Kitchen.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, any more discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Yes.
I'm so glad you're ahead.
I'll agree.
All right, and wording of the bids for the intercoms for David Crockett High School and Westview Elementary. That's coming out of line item 141E, 7100, 71100, 708. Mr. Flynn.
Make a motion that we go with the CES, David Crockett High School for $79,900 and for CES at Westview for $52,975. Second.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Second. I'll agree.
Thank you. Approval of policies. These are policies that have needed changes.
All of these are based on just changes in the law.
Correct.
One exception, is, where's it, Jennifer?
At the top, 4.302.
Okay, 4.30, right here. The requested change here is to change the wording from overnight. Currently, all overnight or out-of-state trips must be approved by the board. Requesting to allow me to approve overnight if it's in-state. Like just recently, Gatlinburg, there's one on the list tonight, overnight going to Gatlinburg. So my recommendation is it's basically overnight and out-of-state would be when it comes to the board. Otherwise, it'll be in a report like the daily day trips are. It'll just indicate that it's an overnight in-state trip that I have approved, or it's on the list I have approved.
Mr. Flynn.
Make a motion that we approve these following policies on the second and final reading: 1.804, 2.400, 4.302, 51151, 5114, 5200, 5201, 5202, 5302, 5400, 5403, 5606, 608, 864.11.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Second. I'll agree.
Thank you.
The additional overnight trip is for Sulphur Springs Elementary, and we just need approval for that.
Do we now, since we just approved them policies?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's on the agenda, I'd recommend that you go ahead and take
Mr. Fleener.
action.
Make a motion, we approve Sulphur Springs Elementary to Gatlinburg June 7th through the 10th for varsity dance camp.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Can we vote please, Jennifer?
I'll agree.
Okay, before we move to the last two, oh, sorry.
Sorry, you go ahead, no.
Before we move to the last two things on the agenda, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. we're back in order. We need to, decide how we're going to go about with our superintendent search. If we plan on using TSBA, if we plan on doing it ourselves, if we plan on doing something else, we need to go. Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion, we go ahead and acquire TSBA to start the search.
Yes, sir.
Second, and there's 3 levels of that.
Try it, forgot about that.
Yes.
We done the second level, I think.
We did when we,
Yes,
when we was searching for Jerry.
that is correct.
So, we may not have to specify it tonight. She can come back with us and
Yeah, I'd send
Say
that
it's-
Tammy tell us.
Give us information.
Right.
can she
And I
tell?
think that, apparently they're making some adjustments in that webinar that's the 21st.
Yeah.
But it has to do with public comment.
Oh, okay.
It has,
That's the change.
the law change with the public comment
Okay.
is something to do with all of that.
Okay.
But, Tammy wanted us to, let them know so that they could start getting their things together by June. So because of the timeline that we had last time, that we did everything in March, so that there was some time to, for the outgoing superintendent and the incoming superintendent to be able to communicate and set things. So that was is what she recommended.
Can she Skype in or Zoom in with us, our workshop this month?
I'll talk to her and see what she will
She may come
allow.
up,
She might come up, but I
she'll
will
be here.
talk to her. I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any more discussion?
I agree with taking this approach. They've got resources and perspective and seem to have a good system, have for many years. And confidence in that process, so.
Okay. So can we vote, please, Jennifer?
No.
I already switched over screen, sorry.
Perfect. So we are now on to budget.
Yes. So just as an update to this morning's meeting with the Budget Committee, we presented to them the budget on the spreadsheet essentially using the budget narrative that's in front of you that highlights the expenditures and information. The feedback was there was support, and correct me if I'm wrong, in your recollection, Mr. Hill, allowing us to budget more of the available local option sales tax from 21 million to 22 million. And then also allowing us to budget what Mr. Meredith identified as the property tax growth, at 0.75% from last year. So that's about what, 1.25?
Yeah, 250 on the property tax.
Yeah, so allowing us to utilize that revenue, budget that revenue, but the guidance was, or they officially voted to send it back for us to bring back a budget that doesn't require, in their words, a tax increase. So to the request to share the 7.7 million, split it 50-50, with the board contributing, 3.885 of fund balance, and then asking the commission to contribute the other additional funds. They rejected that and sent it back to the board.
Mr. Blainer.
I don't know how we can send it back with them without them giving any more money, period. I didn't understand, and when they said that it wasn't, 3.8, it would be more like, they would have to come up with not 3 or 7.6, which is what I thought because of the split with Johnson City. They kept saying 14 million. Why was that?
14 cents. So 7.7 million.
Okay, it wasn't.
At 560,000 per penny.
So it wasn't 14 million, okay. But I don't see how, if we go down to 50 cents on the non-certified staff, and we go down to 2% on the system management, we're not even saving, because on this paper, you said that the health insurance should be an estimated at 10%, so that's $1 million, that'll be $1 million instead of 500,000. I mean, I don't know how we've, unless we go broke ourselves with giving everything up, and, I mean, we're just asking to keep, but even with the 3.8, I don't think it's realistic that we have a 2-month fund balance that we're left with. We'll have to go back and revisit that policy. But I guess the only thing I can see is getting, going down to 50 cents and the 2% on the system management, and maybe getting rid of the coaching supplement and the 3 sped teachers. But I mean, by the time you had the 500,000 on health insurance, what am I saving, $500,000?
With those items that you just indicated, it'd be a wash on those.
So we'd still be asking for 3.3 if we wanted to
That
take
would
the
be our,
3.8.
that would be with, it would actually be plus the existing 3.8, it'd still be, but with the board already committed to 3.8 fund balance use, we'd have to figure out how to eliminate 3.1 million if we don't get additional funds.
And I do believe we could get away with adding only $250 for the health insurance because the health insurance runs calendar year, budget runs fiscal year, so.
We got 6 months to play with and 6 months.
Right.
We try to budget the entire cost just to get it in the cycle, but actually, as Mr. Hell points out, we could budget, we just have to address it next year, the amount.
Hoping it didn't go up 10%
Again, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any more, money, this is for you, Brad? So they're allowing us to budget an extra $1 million. Is there any more tax dollars there that we're not allowed to budget, that we could request to be budgeted?
So, we really are gonna get 23 million in sales tax this year. So they're allowing us to go from 21 to 22, so we're already getting that money, but, so, I mean, technically, if we're able to budget the full amount, we could go to 20, be going to 23 million. Cause that's what we're really getting, but.
We get it either way, it's just that they're not allowing us to budget.
That's the only thing that I can think of, though,
So that would turn that 7.5 to 5.5?
we'd take $1 million off. I mean, cause we've already got 22 million baked into this, and we're still at a 7.7 deficit. Of course, we're gonna cover 3.8 of that,
So
that
give us
would
$1
be
million.
if they would let us, now.
I think maybe we should go back and ask for that. If they did that, that's not money they have to share, correct?
Well, it's already allocated to us, they just don't allow us to budget.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it increases their maintenance of effort.
Right. I think maybe we go back, we can request that, just as a
If you.
change up.
If you requested $1 million, I mean, that would put it pretty tight, but the trend has been, it would be almost exhausting all of that, but as Mr. Hell has pointed out, that money's already allocated to us based on the formula. It's just because of the concern about growing their maintenance of effort, they only allow us to budget, some of it, not all of it.
Better sister.
And they can use it however they choose, I mean, that's up to them.
But I mean, our sister,
Johnson City gets all of
City.
it also, all of their portion, and how they use it is their choice. They don't really get micromanaged like we do.
Mr. Masters?
The more and more I've thought about it, and I hate to even bring it up, but I don't know what else to even bring up, but I know Brad had mentioned we got 20 retirees. And I hate to mention it, but, I mean, we may not have no choice but not to replace, shouldn't say replace, to cut 20 jobs, 20 teaching positions from the retirees, which would run how much, Brad, if we did 20? Or not?
It's just under 1.8 million. I can get the exact number in a minute.
That's still,
right. I mean, I don't know what else to, I just don't feel like we're gonna get much, if any.
Yes, Mr. Flynn.
Of course, I'm gonna give everybody a chance to speak, but I think we kick it back to them and ask for another $1 million of sales tax that we're already getting. That puts us down to asking them for 2.8. And then if we take off that other $500,000, that gets us down to, 2.338. If we take away the coaching supplements and the sped teachers, and if we cut that, dollar to 50 cents, there's 370, so we're asking for 2 million, correct?
I'll double check the math, that sounds right.
But I'd like to go with that, we're still asking for $2 million, but, I mean, they're gonna have to give, we're gonna break
No.
if we don't.
Well,
Yes, sir.
I've been looking at transportation, and that's one big chunk. And at this point, they're forcing our hand to have to look at, and I'm not, this ain't passed, this ain't nothing, it's not even a rumor. I'm just looking at my sheet. And to not have to cut teaching positions, the 20 retiree positions, the sped teachers, all this stuff, the raises that they all deserve, you know, it may come down to us looking at transportation. Because that's $4.3 million. And that's just what I've looked at. So I'm not saying anything's in stone, anything's even being talked about, but looking at everything, it looks to me like they're backing us into a corner. And we're gonna have to look at stuff like that, because I think the teachers ought to get their raises. They work hard.
Mr. Barnes.
Just 2 or 3 comments. In addition to some of the numbers thrown out here, I just heard Brad say that he was comfortable with, taking $250,000 out of the, increase for insurance.
It would be coming out of that, it'd be added to what's on the sheet there, like instead of, they just told us yesterday at the conference, we needed to budget a 10% increase for this year. I only budgeted a 5, but the insurance does run calendar year, not fiscal year, so we're really only talking half a year. So, I mean, if I leave it where I've got it, and they go up 10%, we'll probably won't have enough, but if we add 250 to what I've already got instead of 500, I think we're probably okay, cause we're running, it'll just be 6 months of budget.
So we'll take advantage of that. I guess a couple other things. You know, we look at went to a $1 increase for the non-certified staff, and, you know, I don't know what an average hourly rate there would be, but you know, if it were $15 an hour, and I know most of them hopefully they're above that, then that's a 6% increase. 3% increase is, you know, is very, it's typical, I think. So you know, considering dropping that sum, not necessarily cutting it in half, but maybe going to a percentage increase there, something I'll consider, I believe. I'd like to hear a little more refresher on the special ed teachers. And regarding the dropping, noted possibly 20 positions, I'm not sure that's the right number at all, but I mean, I do, and you study the enrollment numbers, and I actually spent some time on those today, and just looked at what they've done the last year or two. I think we've got to make tough decisions there and cut some positions. We're down, I guess, the first last year, I believe, about 250 students. So it's got to come out somewhere.
And I do have a number that you requested, so if it's 20 teaching positions, that's 1.776 million. 10 would be half that, 888,000 would be 10. So just to give you a reference.
How many's actually retiring?
We had 20 certified teachers retire for this year. We have 21 scheduled for next year already.
So we're, with what the changes is that Mitch said, we're a total of 6.5 million out. We'll have to use 7.7 altogether with what Mitch has said and the $1 million, add the million and stuff.
Yeah, we already counted $1 million.
Well,
No.
yeah, we bumped it to 22 million, but I think what you were asking a minute ago was to bump it another million if they'll let us.
That would bring it down to 6.7.
Yeah, so if they would let us go to, if they would let us go to,
Well,
to
if
23
we're,
million, then that's 6.7.
if we're 7.1 or 7.3, whatever you said we was, we go in there and say, you know, let's, I'll say it, I lost my thought. Let's go in there and change our policy and give everybody the raise. Do not hire nobody else. Absorb them 20 positions or whatever we are that's doing. If people gets upset because they've got to go to a different school or a different classroom, we're sorry, but either we're gonna let people go or you're gonna have to do this. Give everybody the raise, leave everything like it is, and this board we're gonna have to quit spending, you know? I'm sorry, but, and try not to use as much of that 7 point whatever that number is of our fund balance. That would bring, if we was to use it all, that fund balance would be 10 million. We'd end up with a 10 million.
You're saying if we hypothetically use 7.7 next year, you'd be under 10 million. I can tell you from the financial conference, if we ever get to a 1 month fund balance reserve, that we're considered a system in financial distress.
We are.
That's what they told us at the conference. So if you were to get to and right now, you know, you got a 104 million budget, so take 1/12 of that, it's roughly 8.5 million, not 8.5, 9 million. If you ever get there, then the comptroller considers us in financial distress. So your decision, if you say it's
us having to tighten the belts.
Can you pass that along to the budget?
Yeah, we didn't discuss, well, we did mention the comptroller's recommendation, but we didn't discuss the economic.
I know they say
financial distress.
Something of the nature of 3%. They keep repeating that, and that's not accurate.
Well, that's not a fund balance recommendation, that's where they come in, yes, that's where you're in such bad shape, you get basically.
That's where the board no longer has control of their budget, the state.
But that's what they all parrot, the 3%, they think 3%, but that's not accurate.
And if they'll just spend time reading the law and also read even their own organization's, information on CTAS, it's very clear what that is.
Right. I just want that, we'll just have to make it more clear that 3% is not even an option. And that 1% or 1 month is really not an option. So.
Not when they got 4 months.
We need to have a little help.
Mr. Bland, you.
Brad, what is the 2%? If we bump system management up to 2%, what's that number? What would that be?
So it's, from where it is now, you would save you'd knock 62,375 out of the budget.
So
124,750 is what that is. Down from 187,125.
So I mean, you're not even saving 50,000 there. If you took it down to 50 cents from a dollar, you're saving
367,312.
Saving that. And if we cut that 422,000 out,
that'd be the 3 sped and the coaches, so that's an additional, 422.
What would that total be? 367?
If we consider that I need to put 250 back in, add 250 for the health insurance, if you consider that, you've saved 602,000. Or I could not put the 250 in and we could roll roll it and go with it.
I think that'd be, though, that wouldn't be.
But, you know, we just have to realize that we might be short next year and we'd have to fix it next year, so. I think putting 250 additional in the health insurance is probably safe. And, but, yeah, so with all that, 602,000 is what you've saved.
602?
Yes.
Ma'am, would you allow me to make a motion then?
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with, the budget with us pulling out of 3.885,894 from schools, from our fund balance. And those additional savings, and Brad, you'll add, and adding $1 million from the sales tax.
Okay.
And then cutting another 600 and, what'd you say, thousand? Going from $1 or 50 cents on the non-certified staff. I'm sorry, Jennifer, I'm butchering this.
Do you still have?
50 cents for the non-certified staff,
Do you still have?
2%
I didn't know.
for the system management,
We have 50 cent, 3%.
That was the other summary.
taking away the three sped teachers, doing away with the coaching supplement, or a supplement altogether. And add $1 million in sales tax, being able to budget that. That, I guess we need to make sure to say that means we're budgeting 23 million, cause they're gonna think that I misspoke, so 23 million, excuse me, Jennifer, 23 million in sales tax. In sales, yeah, the local option sales tax. And we're asking for them for what then, Brad?
2.283, I can give Jennifer the exact number, but just under 2.3 would be the ask.
Asking $2.3 million from them. I put that from, yeah, I put that from motion. Okay.
I'll second for discussion, please.
Okay. Would you like to discuss?
Yeah, only thing, I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I just think our system management needs to say 3 for the hours they put in and for what they have to do.
It's only 60,000.
That's what I'm saying, there's not a whole lot of money difference, but I think where they didn't get, in my mind, a whole lot last year compared to everybody else, I'd like to keep them at 3 if we could.
Amend that, or, yeah, it'd be cleaner, amended then for that. Adding the system management back for 3%, and I'll second.
We need to vote on the amendment.
You have to.
Well, he made that motion for the amendment, and I seconded it.
Okay. Mr. Paul, do you have?
So, I know we're trying to cut money here, but you were talking about cutting the coach supplement modification, which is 157,000, correct? So these coaches get paid nothing already for the amount of time and energy and hours they put in and day out. They're getting paid nothing, so we gotta at least give them some.
Well, for it being just 157,000, I believe we can self-absorb that, especially, yeah.
To speak on that part, if we use some of that money, outcome money, we've got 150 there that we've set aside, well, a little more than 150.
Assuming you do spend up to 500.
Yes, assuming we do that. I mean, we've got that, but, you know, keep in mind this reoccurring. That's our problem, spending money right now, because everything we spend today, we gotta spend again next year, same amount. So that's, you know, that's something we really gotta focus and keep in mind.
You're exactly right.
But you're exactly right, I agree with you.
Because this piece has been put in and taken out for the last 3 years. It goes in, and then they send it back, and then we have to take that piece out. So we've done, I mean, this has been something we've done for the last at least 3 years, if not 4.
Done every year.
So, Mr. West.
2 questions for discussion if we could. We call this coaching supplements, but it's not just coaches. It includes other roles and could,
choir, band, those are in your book, we don't have a newspaper, but yearbook, choir band. Those are really the only non-athletic supplements.
Okay. All very important programs, as are the athletics, so it strains me to know that, you know, we have a 700,000 deficit, we think, and we scale back to just a fourth of that. Personally, I hate to pull that one out right away. My second, question as part of this discussion is on the 3 special ed teachers. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that need there, if we could.
Sure. So 2 of those positions were requested due to the increased, students with disabilities populations at both Jonesboro and Gray. They right now have the highest ratio, adult to student ratio on their caseloads. We try to keep that at around 30. I mean, when you think about a special ed teacher who is serving a special ed student, they're not only delivering their intervention and support, but they also manage all of the required paperwork that goes with it, writing their IEP, leading all of those things. So they're doing that for the 30 students on their caseload. Gray and Jonesboro, those teachers now carry over 40 students on their caseloads. And so we are trying to get that at a more manageable level. And just for reference, Gray has not been able to hire a special ed teacher all year. They had a teacher who left in October, and every time we have told them how large their caseload will be during the interview, they decline the position because they know they can stay in other districts that are keeping that manageable at that 30. So if we get those teachers, it would be added at Jonesboro and Gray to take that caseload back down to around 27 to 30. The other position that I had requested was just where we had talked a lot about being able to support students through social emotional learning, that regulation piece, and being able to implement a social behavior intervention program for our K-5 students.
Okay, thank you. So, and just, that helps me a lot. And just to follow my comment here as part of this discussion, just some recent feedback that I got, and I think maybe some of the staff here they've heard at Gray. It sounds like it really is a difficult situation out there in special ed. And, I'm closing the loop here, and I really hate to pull that phone.
I mean, just asking that, if we don't add those 2 positions, it will mean looking at, you know, moving personnel from other schools to kind of balance that, because we can't continue to maintain that caseload at those 2 schools. It's just not feasible.
Do we have that personnel to move?
I'll have to go back to the drawing board for sure and look. I don't know that we do, but it would have to be looked at if we don't get those positions, because those 2 schools cannot continue to manage that caseload at that high level and provide appropriate support for students.
Are those students all within district?
I would have to look.
I believe so. What are some of the other caseloads throughout the system?
So we have anywhere, sorry, my computer just died. Our smallest caseload right now, is around 20, and then they go up to about 32, with the exception of Jonesboro, and Gray, who are sitting at 42 and 43.
What's the criteria, standards for the acceptable case?
So based on just where I see other districts and talking to other special ed directors across the state, 30's high. But we still try to, I mean, that's
what I've heard.
Yeah, 30's high.
For years.
Can you describe again the 3rd position? I understand the 2. Tell me one more time about
Yes,
that.
so I just know throughout the year, we've talked a lot about the need for something to be able to support our youngest students, K-5, who are struggling with that self-regulation in the general ed setting. So we've kind of spent this year researching programs and what that may look like. And so if we had that position, we would be able to build a program at one of our schools for K-5 for social behavior intervention. It would be a short-term program, but really focusing on self-regulation skills and strategies needed to get students back into their home school.
So, could we take a look at our numbers and our per student, or per teacher, students per teacher ratios, and just see, you know, some of the retiring positions, if we can do away with some of those and just move people around to try to cover that?
Well, essentially also what we would do, would take 3 of those 20 retirees and just identify those to be who we would seek to fill those positions would be the special education teachers, and not, for example, if the retiree was a 4th grade teacher and we have good ratios in 4th grade, then we would just repurpose that particular position to be one of the 3 special ed positions.
And then overall system-wide ratios, you know, if we could maybe, I mean, we gotta do something, so, you know.
I mean, I have that data right now, and Dr. Wolf is, you know, her team's involved in enrollment management, so.
Not just SPED.
No, I'm talking about all of it.
All
by grade band, yeah. As is the case, and has been the case in Washington County, we're at or below the state maximum individual class size and also the average. So, for example, K through 3 average is 20, and the maximum class size is 25, but it's pretty strong agreement that 25 in a kindergarten classroom is not ideal or acceptable. So we set our ratios below that, and we currently are below that. In some cases significantly low in this 18 to 1 ratio. So, saying all that, we have a little bit of movement in repurposing positions and looking at attrition, like non-renewals and retirements, to repurpose some positions without adding it to the budget. It will impact ratios, but as long as we stay within what we believe is acceptable limits, then that would be the determining factor. So, for example, we take that 4th grade teacher, I'm just using that as an example, repurpose that SPED, it still allows us in 4th grade to be at an acceptable ratio, then that's what we do every year when we have to repurpose positions to meet needs because we don't get additional funding.
What's the number in 4th grade now? Is it 30?
4th grade maximum class size is 30, 25 average. 4 through 6, it's grade band 4-6. And then 7-12 is 30 average, 35 maximum.
What is our number that recurring, since we started raising teacher salaries to get to the minimum of 50,000? What is our recurring, what's that, 9,000 or 9 million a year that we've gone up, or somewhere thereabouts, or?
Well, you figured this year, just the 2,095 was about 1.3. If you had the step increase, then it gets it up to 2 million, and you've done that for 3 years in a row. So just in 3 years, you're talking 6 million.
But the first big year that we made the adjustment, it was a lot more than 2.
That was over $4 million in 1 year when we fixed the teacher scale and everything.
So
So you add
we're
that
10 million.
with the 3 years.
In 5 years, you're at $10 million.
So,
Yes.
recurring,
Recurring
So that-
teacher salary.
that's kind of the theme, and I think where some miss out on where our budget is falling so short, and it's hard for us now, because over the last 5 years, we've gained $10 million recurring. And I don't think they understand that. I don't think the commission sees that. I don't think they understand that. We've absorbed 10 million recurring every year. That is why we're in such a hard spot. So honestly, we're gonna need additional funding to continue the level of education. When what is your, sometimes I feel like we're looked at like a liability instead of an asset in education. I think they need to see the importance of that, and I think the public needs to see the importance of that. And I hope you echo that to them, please, or we can. But 10 million recurring is a lot for us to absorb with not additional funding. We just can't do it. We were lucky, I guess lucky, but through circumstances of COVID, we were able to absorb it. But we've come to the end of the road on absorption, and we're gonna have to have additional funding. And to educate these children properly, we need to fund it. You know, we can't have out of bounds ratios and unable to hire teachers for our kids. So, you know, and it's not popular, but if it's a tax increase they have to have, then there it is. I mean, we can't manage money we don't have, and you can't get blood out of a turnip. So we have so much that's required for us to operate, and it's a high level, it's high dollar amounts. So we're gonna have to have a little break and little assistance on the funding to make it work.
And to clear up, when I mentioned transportation, that was just an example. Could you imagine if it got, and when it got that bad, that you had to look at cutting out the rides to school for children? That some of them, if they didn't have the rides that the county provides, wouldn't even get to school. That's unimaginable. That's unacceptable.
But they look at the $17 million fund balance, and that's what they look at.
So,
That's
question,
what they look at.
what makes our budget a budget that they would have to raise taxes over? Like I think you all said that they said to come back to them with a budget amount that they wouldn't have to raise taxes?
I'm assuming that their stance is that within the existing funding across all the general fund, all of the county funding, that they could not shift funding to address our need without raising taxes. They do not have enough funds to cover all of the county expenditures, including the school system, if they were to address the gap presented by us.
Well, they would have if they'd have given us some pennies out of the last tax raise. We would have had some money.
Or the sales tax back.
Yeah.
Mr. Flynn.
Just to make sure my math's right, if Mike's amendment passed and we left the system management at 3, plus the 250 on the insurance, taking away the 3 sped teachers and the coaching supplements, and moving the non-certified staff to 367, 311.50, we'd be asking the county still for 2.345, 959.50. What you got?
Matches my math too, yes.
Okay.
So that's me and that 5 difference.
No, it'd be 212.
No, from what we asked, 3.8 to 2.3.
But we're asking for $1 million back. We're basically cutting $500,000, but you can't skin much more.
Is there any more discussion on the amendment?
Can we clear it up?
Let's restate
the amendment again.
Yes, please.
Yeah, can we clear it up?
Well, how about if I withdraw my motion and second, and let Chad, if he will, restate the motions cleaner?
Make the non-certified state.
He withdrew his amendment,
And his second.
going back to the original motion made by Mr. Flynn.
And you're pulling your original motion?
Got it cleaned up with Brad, went down.
Oh, okay.
He
Okay, if you done
has it
that, then
cleaned up
we'll-
now.
But you still have to vote on the amendment.
Still have to vote on the amendment, so you.
The amendment goes from 2% system management to 3. Well, we're just gonna leave it at 3, but if you've already got the math.
Yeah.
I pulled out, yeah, I thought you all went through it, sorry.
No, that's all. Keep that, let the way, cause I got it right
Whichever's
here.
easiest for you.
Does the motion still include pulling the coaching supplement?
Yes. Well, we can fund it with what we already had.
Mr. Barnes, sorry.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion that we keep the coaching supplement in.
Wait a second.
amendment on top of the amendment, on top of the motion.
The amendment on top of the amendment. So this amendment is to keep the coaching staff.
The supplemental adjustment, modification.
Okay. And so I will second that because I want to ask a question. The money that we were talking about a while ago, the 150,000, whatever, that will go into our budget, correct? Or that is already in the budget or is not?
It is already in the budget. If it's not expended, it will roll over into fund balance.
And that's the money that we were talking about using for this coaching supplement just a few minutes ago, correct?
It was mentioned that we could, but it also was mentioned that because that is unbudgeted at this point, looking to next year's outcome base, there's no guarantee we will get 770,000 or 600,000.
The next year.
The next year.
Perfect.
Likelihood is we will.
Okay.
Unless they change the TISA formula, which they don't seem to be planning on doing.
Okay.
Then you can count on that to a certain extent, but it will not arrive until mid-year next year. It would not be added to the budget until after that.
Well, I'm almost certain there's going to be some kind of tax increase next year. I don't think anybody can survive without that next year. So we definitely need to make sure we're asking for money because the last time they told us we didn't ask for it. So that's why we didn't get any money. Okay, so we're waiting on Jennifer to clear the amendment up and then we'll vote on the amendment to the amendment.
Do you know how much debt we're in as far as the county?
I would have to refer to the last audit report to see what the total debt is. I'm going to go out on a limb and just guess somewhere around 200 million.
In debt, 200
As a
million?
county.
As a county.
And as they'll point out, the majority of that is past bonds for schools. They haven't paid off all those ones. Now, I'm just going from visual memory.
I think 70 of it was hurricane relief. And they recouped 25 of that.
And they have to consider that debt until they get reimbursed.
And they raised taxes last time and used how many pennies for debt payoff?
They raised 20 cents.
So how many did they use for the debt payoff? I think it was like,
It generated 16 million.
I'm not sure how much they allocated to debt service.
but a lot of it was for debt service.
Including the amount moved from the Jonesboro what was designated for our education.
Sure.
They moved that over, plus however many more pennies they added for debt service out of their tax increase. I don't know that all 16 million or that additional went to debt service. I don't believe it did, but it could have. I'm not sure about that.
Well, whatever they raised it, used it to balance their budget.
That was the year they took the local sales tax
They
from
took
us,
the
and
local
the city
sales
used that
tax, and that made them
4.1 million to balance their budget.
To balance their budget. Now, I don't know when, but Ridgeview and Grandview should be about paid for. Because they set it up on a 20-year thing. And a penny back then was bringing about 200,000. So, you know, that's gonna free up, once that debt gets paid off. I don't know. I believe it was 208 was what a penny was worth back then, but I ain't gonna swear to it.
We're waiting on Jennifer to.
To get it all straight?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Sat there and listened to county commission meetings and stuff, and they never ask what's paid off or what's coming off the debt service.
I don't know that I've seen a report. I think there may have been one. Trying to find it in the audit.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Are we correct, the last amendment was only for the coaching supplements? So you've got to vote only on the coaching supplements
Only on the
right
coaching
now?
supplements, it's the
Yeah,
amendment to
only
the
on
amendment.
Yeah.
And so I'm ready to vote when she is.
So voting only on the coaching supplements, right?
157.
Correct.
That's the problem.
Mr. Walter,
Yes.
from the 25 audit report, it said that 256,430,000.
Now, if they owe 50 million for a school, do they have to show 50 million in debt till they get that paid off? Or does that dwindle down just like it would in her?
Well, I think as the outstanding debt,
It goes down, okay. Thank you very much.
Does it say anything about Ridgeview and Grandview?
the detail is just, it's just the overall figure that says,
Debt service.
yeah, the page I'm looking at just says, outstanding
Go
debt.
back to the original with everything else, yeah. Cause it'll only let me do one.
Is that okay with you, Chad?
That's just like.
Add the 3, go back to 3% on the system management.
Cause she can't put one amendment in
Yeah, it
there.
doesn't let me do more than one.
Let's just start fresh right here.
Whenever it got done.
Okay, this is for the amendment.
5.
Of the coaching
Coaching
supplement.
supplements for $157,000.
Debt service to take care of it for 20 years.
Okay, here we go.
Ready?
Yes.
The amendment is to keep the coaching supplement in our budget.
$157,000.
This is just on the coaching supplement.
Cheryl?
Put pressure on it.
See,
4 yeses and 3 noes.
So we're now voting on the original motion.
with the,
No?
Yes, it failed.
Oh, yeah, you could have.
5 was passed.
Correct.
So it's back to the original motion, which is 50 cents on there for non-certified staff.
No.
No, the next amendment.
No, we withdrew and started over.
Withdrew and
because it wouldn't allow.
Because it wouldn't allow her to do it.
it only lets me do one amendment.
Okay.
So we're on 50 cents on non-certified, leaving system management 3%. Coaching supplement, the sped teachers are all gone.
Yes, sir.
Just,
Oh,
you have to have 5 votes for a motion to pass.
Yeah, you gotta have majority of the board, which is 9 members.
Chair. I mean, this is not that big a deal to me, but I think it's important to keep it.
the
I
amendment
mean,
failed.
I think there are some things that it's the full membership majority. Otherwise, I think when you have a quorum, it is the majority present. Now, there are some items, no matter what, you have to have majority of the full membership of the board, but I think in general motions, if you have a quorum, it's the majority of those present.
So that would have passed?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
I don't believe that's correct. I mean, I don't know if we ain't got nobody else to ask, but, I mean, I know when,
He's our parliamentarian.
I know, but I want you to check it.
We
'cause I
go
don't believe it's
down
correct.
and get in the weeds deep, so sometimes we explore areas that
Oh, no,
other
don't
people
get
haven't.
it.
Okay, we've got 50 cents for classified, 3% for system management.
Let me ask you a question. We're already at 3% for system management, so do we need to read?
No.
Does that even need to be addressed? Cause I don't think.
I think what we're doing is any changes, that would not be a change to what's already been approved.
Yeah,
Okay.
cause you approved 3% core,
Okay.
like last meeting.
Okay.
So 50 cents for classified,
Take out the sped and take out the coaching, it's the original motion.
The coaching supplement.
And add the million back to the.
coaching.
50 cents for classified, remove the 3 sped teachers, remove the coaching supplements, add 1 million in sales tax to total 23 million. And that was a motion by Mr. Fleener, second by Mr. Master.
As amended.
Yeah, cause, I mean, according to Google right here, that is correct.
As
A
amended.
quorum is necessary to start a meeting, but decisions are generally require a board, and I don't know what generally means, but require a majority vote of those present.
That is the general Robert's rules, but in your board policy, I just pulled up, it says, just what you said, majority of the membership constitutes quorum. But, and it says that when a formal vote is taken on any question brought before the board, the decision shall be made on the basis of a majority of the membership of the board.
So, okay, cause.
So the rules here match what you said and not necessarily general rules of Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay. I was thinking that was correct, cause we've run into this before.
So it does or does not pass?
It does require, it does not pass.
It does not pass.
It would,
Because that's
5
not
is still the number.
All right, so we are voting on the original motion. I'm ready.
It's open. Four yeses and 3 noes. Oh, Mr. Barnes is still voting. Sorry.
Barnes voted yes.
Mr. Barnes voted yes.
So the motion fails.
So it failed.
Oh, 4 yes, 5 yeses.
Oh, did he say 5? Did you say
5 yeses.
Then it passes.
3 noes.
All right. So I guess you have direction.
Brad and I will work on that tomorrow.
All right.
I will share out with the board the adjustments just for your full awareness.
What was the vote on that?
Something about right, it was only 7 of us here. Couldn't be 5-3.
No, it
That's right.
says, okay, here's the votes. Of course, we have Hammond absent, Huddlestone absent, Barnes, yes, Irvin, no,
Yeah.
Fleener, yes, Masters, yes, Riddle, yes, Walters, no, Buchanan, no.
But
Failed.
It failed.
Okay, so it was 4-3.
So,
I thought you said, I wouldn't, I just heard you say
Y'all
Mr. Barnes
see it
was in the
like the
process
football
vote.
So I wanna make a motion
okay.
that we do everything the last motion said, except we put back in the sped teachers.
So take out the coaching supplement, take the 50 cents an hour, and add $1 million sales tax. Is that what you're?
And add the sped teachers.
Well, it's already there, you just,
Yeah, we
the
would
motion
have to
is
talk about it.
be what you're taking out.
Oh, okay, yeah. Don't.
No coaching supplement,
Don't
50
do away
cents
with it.
on the non-certified, and add $1 million back.
Correct.
So with that, you'll be asking the commission for 2.611 million by adding the sped teachers back.
Okay. It's very important to me.
Yeah, right here.
2 by 3.
Did you get a second?
Second.
All right, now we have a second. So,
Who seconded that?
I
check.
Check.
So, can we go with, can I make an amendment to that we, because she's asking for 3, can we do 2? Special ed teachers is what I would like to make the amendment for. Okay, I do not have a second.
Second.
I just
Sorry.
feel like the Gray and the Jonesboro, that's the 2 most highly what we need to be able to, 1, fill the position, and 2, serve the students.
How much are we saving there then, Brad? What would we be taking off?
Around 88,700. Some change there. Yeah.
Mr. Masters.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, don't get me wrong. But the reason why I had asked to take it out is because I think with 20 retirees, Mr. Boyd can move people around to replace that very easily. And I think he explained that a little bit to us on what his plans was. That's the reason why.
I don't care where it's brought from.
Exactly, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't, as long as it's provided, I don't care.
Right, and I don't, think that I didn't wanna add it back to the budget.
No,
just
you're
because
good,
of the numbers.
and if I need to take back what I said, because we can do that, then I'll take
And
my
Mr. Boyd
motion back.
can, you know, add to that. If
Well,
I
I think
understood
we
it
work
right.
on that?
We need to look at it and,
Cause it'd be a new job.
we'll prioritize that. Well, I mean, I can, honestly, in an approved budget, I determine where teachers are assigned. and-
Right.
So, I mean, I can make that determination with an approved budget.
Mr. Warren?
I was going, same comment as
Okay.
Mr. Masters. As I went through the discussion, my thoughts were, we could pull a few positions and, you know, I was comfortable pulling 3 positions out across the system, but then have the flexibility to address the specific needs, certainly.
Yes, sir.
Did we cut any of the 20 positions?
I have not allowed principals to post, that we have
Okay.
not currently, I mean, with the budget ongoing, but, you know, of course, principals' feedback is those are needed positions, but
Could we save a certain amount for positions like the sped and cut some others?
right now, I haven't allowed them to post any position for next year. There's been a few exceptions, hard to fill. Other than that, principals are chomping at the bits to be able to post, but we're gonna have to look at ratios and make some decisions, and if it reprioritizing a position may have to move over here.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, we can do that, yes.
Well, I just, with
And-
her saying 42 cases,
Yeah.
and that's how many people with 42 cases?
Right now, we have 3
About that
special
many.
ed teachers at Jonesboro who are carrying, and one of them actually has 50. And
So
then-
this is one person has 42
Well, I
cases?
mean, I'm
Yes.
looking at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there are 3, so there are over, there are 100, right now Jonesboro has 137
Yeah.
Yeah.
special ed students who are
Awkward.
split between 3 teachers, and
Yeah, I
depending
wouldn't
on the
do it, so I
grade
wouldn't
level
expect
that,
nobody
yeah,
else to do
and
it without
then
help.
Gray is around 85,
Right,
and so they're,
okay, well, thank you for.
yeah, no,
specifying.
absolutely.
Okay.
But I agree with you, Vance, on that. I just-
So,
Change your note,
That's what I
yes,
was-
on the budget.
Uh,
Can you do it?
I don't know if I can.
What is it?
I said, since he's agreed for this, to pull his, motion back, and I assume your or amendment
My
back,
amendment, yep.
can he go back and change his
Vote.
no to a yes? Or does it have to be voted up
think that's
or
right.
another
I think
amendment
it would be a
again?
recall, I mean, a revote. I don't think you can do that. After a vote has been cast,
Yeah.
Can you make the same motion again?
I think the person that made the original motion can. It's same, I believe so.
I thought it had to be
Or
somebody
if
on
it's
the
tabled.
opposite side.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
That's a non-contested vote.
Okay.
I mean, it was approved.
Okay.
And yours was what, 50 cents for non?
50 cents for non-certified, and taking away the sped teachers and this coaching supplement. That's what, and adding $1 million for the sales tax, 22 to 23.
How much is that 50 cents? What's that figure, what is that figure?
367,
How much?
311.50.
367.
367, 311.50. And also we're adding the 250 in the health insurance. So it's gotta be a part of that motion as well.
Or did you say if we do the 500 that we won't have to worry about it next year, or throughout the year?
To be safe, probably need to add 250 more to it, based on what they said at the financial conference. So instead of adding 500 in addition to what we've already got, I would say add 250.
I'll make that form of motion then.
I'll second.
Jennifer needs you to repeat your motion, Mr.
Thank
Poyer.
I can't do another amendment on here.
No, we're canceling all that.
They drew all that out.
You withdrew yours.
We're back to the original
Maybe just
motion which Chad made.
restate so we know we got it all, if that's
Wait
okay.
a minute, so you withdrew your amendment?
For the
Yeah,
two
motion.
sped teachers and the sped teachers, period.
We'll figure this out before long.
Okay, so
And
we're
just-
back to their original motion.
50 cents on the non-certified staff.
Oh gosh, my computer is about to die. Can somebody go get my clear pen?
Whoever reaches my
No,
board.
she's got this one.
Okay, so we're back to the original, which is the 50 cents for the classified, removing the coaching supplements, and adding 1 million in sales tax to total 23 million.
On the sped.
Taking the sped teachers and adding 250 for the health insurance.
Add 3 sped teachers. Correct,
Taking them away.
Taking them away.
Taking them away.
removing,
Then add the 250 for health insurance.
okay.
I'm gonna say this, but I'm not gonna put it in the form of a motion though, but I don't like giving the 3% and then taking it away from the others. If we're gonna take away from one, we need to take away from both. It's just,
Well, 50 cents on the $15 hour, they're still getting the 3%.
I
You know what
don't
I'm
care.
saying?
A loaf of bread costs the same amount.
Well, at the lowest,
So I mean,
You know,
what we
put
used to
that up
do was
there.
about percentages. So at least they're all getting the same thing.
and that was, Mr. Tucker, and this morning, Commissioner Tucker had made a comment why we did percent on one and dollar on other. Well, salary, the percentage was on the salaries and the dollar was on the wage. And so the feedback, I told him we would work it up, and I just basically did a range. Our lowest per hour currently is 15, and this exceeds, we don't have anyone currently making $45 an hour, but on our scale, it falls somewhere at the highest level, highest year experience and so on. It's in the neighborhood of 41. You can see as it makes sense. At the lower level, the percent increase is greater, and when you get to the highest level, it's less, when you do a flat type of an increase. So, like, this is on a dollar, so if you did 50 cents, of course, like Mr. Flinner just pointed out, it's about half of what is, the percent is about half of what it is here. So, that's what your 50 cents would look like.
Are you ready, Jennifer? Anybody?
We do need to add in well, we can do that, we gotta add in the requested from the commission as far as the ask.
Can we vote, please?
Yeah, we can get that after they vote.
It's open. Motion carries with 1 no.
Right. If there's nothing else, oh yes, Mr. Quinn.
I'd like to request that we keep the 18th open for a possible workshop/meetings. 18th and 19th, which one would be better for CO?
For budget?
Well,
Just
either
in
that
case.
or we,
18th is the county commission meeting at 6. So I wouldn't recommend the 18th.
19th or 20th, which one's better for you?
19th.
I have some things are locked into, and I'll adjust. 19th is,
Would 20 be better for you?
Yeah, we can do the 20th.
20th would not, because that would be my wife's early birthday dinner.
Could we do it earlier on the 18th?
Can we do it earlier on the 18th if we need to? I mean, earlier on the 19th, sorry, if we need
The
to.
19th's fine.
Oh, the 19th's fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'll adjust, but the 20th I could adjust, but I'd prefer not to.
No, we don't wanna go there.
So what time's good for you on the 19th?
Whatever's good for the board.
I just gotta be at work at 15 to 6.
We can do it at 7 AM, we can do it at,
Do we do it 4
5
o'clock?
PM, we can do it at
Can we do it
6 PM.
at 4 o'clock would be great.
Is that good with you, Keith?
Yeah, whatever.
What about
I
you?
might be dirty.
Great.
Alright,
I'll be dirty.
anybody need anything else? We're adjourned.
The closest building on a state highway is in bad shape right now. That barn that's on 81